is Margaret Ann Windsor. The name I have to use is Peggy Ann Dempsey Childers. I married a Childers, and I was kidnapped in 41 from Buckingham Palace and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a twin. Both twins were dead, my identity stolen, and I lived a hell of a life, and you can't even describe it. It was a hellhole and a pigsty. So I wrote a medical malpractice book. I'm showing where I just paid rent again. This is owned by the Patels and Shaws. They're from India. They've become quite wealthy, and I'm going to tell you why. They have helped run me. Law enforcement tells them to do it. They have run me. I move in, and I'm allergic to chemicals. I have an immune disorder that, especially if I'm in close quarters and you got my room toxic by part of it, the way you do it was with your air conditioning and heating pouring out toxic fumes. Well, they put formaldehyde in here today, and I've probably been in here for a little bit, and I didn't know it because my kidneys are shutting down. And I've been out where they burned it at the National Forest out at North Creek in Buchanan. It's a national forest, and it's illegal, too. But this is how they run me. And people all around here, Troutville, Roanoke, in Virginia, know what they're doing to me. Law enforcement gets where they've broken the law, whether it's income tax or the kids are have done drugs, or you know what I mean, internal revenue, they've broken the law. So the law itself, that's the feds who direct the local law enforcement and state to do what they're doing. And over the years, that's how they move me. That's how State Trooper retired Carl Barton's wife said to me in August 14th of '09, this is how we move you, make you move. Well, it's killing me, and now then you have to sleep. So they've got formaldehyde in here, and my kidneys are shutting down. By the way, this is the maintenance guy. Very arrogant and knows exactly what he's doing, as they all have. I wanted to put in here, since I can't go to sleep, it makes my eyes go wide open, I can't sleep. This is my father, King Edward VIII. This is the double that married Wallace Simpson. And 99-year seal put on my birth and my dad's illegal takedown. His own brother, George VI, who's Elizabeth's father, is illegal. He's with Roosevelt, who appointed Joe Kennedy, who was part of my kidnapping. That's JFK's father. The New World Order, Illuminati, Freemasons, they're all the same people, and that's the global power, and they're the ones that helped kidnap me. My uncle and Roosevelt and the New World Order, the Freemasons, took down my father, and 99-year seal put on it. My dad was married to my mom, Claudia O'Keefe, from Madison, Wisconsin, so you can see what a massive takedown it was. And then I'm a hostage here. Part of it was George, illegal. Elizabeth's father signed illegal treaties allowing the United States to put its bases all over British soil and kidnap me, is what they'd done, and took down my father. And all these treaties are illegal, but it allowed the United States military on everything, and now then the United States controls it, and the Brits are hostages. This is where Larry Flint, I wrote a mind control book back in 76 to 80 when they put antifreeze in me on April Fool's Day of 80. Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia in March the 6th of 78. That was near Marietta, where I was living at Moonraker Apartments doing the book on mind control. And Larry McDonald, he mentions here, as part of his shooting, that I know who was responsible for his shooting. But it's the FBI. I'll go ahead and say it. I mean, I'm dying anyway. I'm sure I can suffer a lot more before I'm actually dead. But They're the ones that carried the Alexis Murphy. These are mind control murders like Hannah Graham. They just confirmed that was her body. She's British, English, as am I. And Morgan Harrington. Her father's a psychiatrist, and he even taught at Virginia Tech next door to me in Blacksburg, where a bunch of these murders had happened, but especially on April the 16th of '07, the mass killings there, where the shooter, as the one that just did it in Seattle today at school, what do they call it? He's part Indian. By the way, I've told that these murders were done in patterns. This is before I found out my real name, in '83. I've said they were done in patterns, and that one does not include his name. He's part of it. I don't know who he shot, and I'm not even going to look at their names. But he was in a king and queen court. I believe he was the king or something. So it has to do with court and this type thing. And the fact it's a means to take away weapons when really this is done in mind control. And I guess I'm sounding like I'm skipping around. But the doctor I wrote about, Larry McDonald, U.S. Congressman, part of it was about him, mind control. His plane went down a few years later, August the 31st of '83, and I was flown out to Flint. He helped me in the campaign, and he did this endorsement in '84. Oh, now then, I've shown you why it happened, my kidnapping and what they've done to me. They've done nothing but torture me and my sons Mark and Scott. I have no idea where they are. And so this is Timothy McVeigh. You think this is being done to Brits and all around the world, mind control used. This is Timothy McVeigh, and he said the U.S. Army implanted a computer chip in his buttocks, which allowed them to remote control him and program him to take down the federal building in Oklahoma City, etc. But then you've got the Aurora, Colorado, and where they're treating him for mental illness when they've programmed him, and programming and mind control has nothing to do with mental illness, because that's what's they're using as a scapegoat and giving them illegal drugs. But somebody right over here when I walked in the other day that was staying here, and I paid my rent yesterday morning, and I'll have to leave or I'll die. If I can find a place and money to go, same thing will happen. They'll come in right after me, and they get stuff on them, and nobody pays for the crime, so they feel free. And quite frankly, the Americans don't care. But this man was a guest here, and he just happened, I guess, to be standing there talking about an article in the paper here. And Roosevelt's part of my kidnapping, FDR. And he was here evidently in 1934, October the 19th, and I want you to look at the crowds. School was turned out. That's him on the train, right here. But I don't know what that's got to do with anything other than he was the one that helped kidnap me and appoint Joe Kennedy ambassador to England, and the Kennedys. That's part of the reason they don't tell you about JFK's assassination. Mind controls was used in it, just like Martin Luther King's. And Reverend Andrew Young was with him when he was shot, and he became, Jimmy Carter appointed him UN ambassador, I believe, and the whole point was taking over Great Britain, and I'm the real monarch. They've known all along, and the blacks began to partner with the Kennedys in taking over Africa, and that was Andrew